How's it going, everybody? It is Monday, June 16th, and you are watching or listening to another episode of Tide Pod. I'm Henry Sklar, as always, with Tony Sakalas. And Tony, how are we doing today?
Doing well. Just inching closer, man. Inching another. I feel like we say the same thing when we're doing well. We don't have any more news to report on. It's just another day closer to football season.
Yeah, so last week we talked about Alabama's entire roster. Basically, we went through our positional group rankings and we talked about pretty much every player on Alabama's roster and where we think their position groups stack up. And today we're going to be broadening our perspective a little bit, broadening our lens, and we're going to be talking about one position group, arguably the most important position, not even arguably, quarterbacks. But we're not going to be talking about just Alabama's quarterbacks. We're going to be talking about all of the SEC's quarterbacks, and we're going to be putting them on a tier list for you guys. Our opinions, don't come at us with pitchforks in the comments. We're going to try our best here to collaborate on this list. So, Tony, if you would like to pull up the tier list that we set
let's
up.
get that on. Okay, so we've got.
Yeah, so we have.
Yeah, you explain the tiers for the people.
So as of June 16th, these are all the current projected starting quarterbacks in the SEC. As you see, we have Ty Simpson right there. He's Alabama's projected starting quarterback. We're not sure if he's going to be the starter yet, but we're just going to go with it. And we have 6 tiers here on the tier list. An S tier is your top guys. They're your elite quarterbacks, guys who would go top 15, top 10 in the NFL draft, true NFL talent guys. These are the guys that can be like the face of the conference and Heisman contenders. The A tier is, very high level quarterbacks. They might not be necessarily elite guys that you are going to say are going to be top NFL QBs one day, but they're definitely like top starting quarterbacks and can definitely win their team games. The B tier is like solid guys, not guys that are going to wow you, not guys that are going to take over games. Maybe they have that ability in them, but they operate their offense as well and they keep their team competitive, and they might have a few traits that stand out. The C tier is going to be more of like a wait and see type thing, like younger guys maybe we haven't seen a lot of yet, or just guys that are kind of unproven. And then the D tier is going to be guys who are up and down, guys who can win you games and have really big plays, but also are really, what's the word I'm looking for? They're really risky at times. They're
Sure.
I can't remember the exact word I'm looking for.
Inconsistent players, I would say.
Inconsistent
Are we
guys.
Going to have anybody at the E tier? I think the SEC's quarterbacks are too good. I currently plot.
I don't know.
Spoiler. I don't have an E tier player on my list. I don't know. You might, but I do not. I do not have an E tier player on my list. But I guess that would just be awful.
Yeah, I mean, this is going to be fun. I mean, we usually talk about Alabama. We've talked a lot about Ty Simpson, Keelan Russell, and Austin Mack, of course. But this is just a good exercise for us to get our minds focused on all the quarterbacks. And Tony, you actually published an article talking about all the quarterbacks on Alabama's schedule. If you want to briefly touch on that real quick before we get going.
Yeah, I did ranking the Alabama quarterbacks on the ones that they'll face. And hold on, let me pull that up. I should have had that open up right here. Yeah, so I mean, like that's gonna give it away a little bit. I don't know how much we want to go into that. I only ranked the ones that that Alabama will face. So I also did some of the conference guys as well. I guess I don't want to give away too much, right? Because I don't want to spoil the show by giving away, everybody that I have. But I guess that first person on your, we can go through the list on the bottom.
Yeah.
Of your
I'm thinking.
So, Garrett Nussmeier.
I'm thinking, why don't we just go in the order of Alabama's schedule and go week by week, and then we can go into the rest of the conference after.
Okay, we can do that. Okay, well then I kind of
you spoil. I think we agree. I think we agree on the guy you spoiled. But let's start with Gunnar Stockton. Alabama faces off against Georgia is it week 4 or 5? I think it's week 4. Their first SEC game on the road in Athens.
Oh no, there's a bye week before it.
I believe it's week 5. Yeah, Alabama faces off against Georgia though in Athens, and they'll likely be seeing Gunnar Stockton. Stockton took over in the SEC championship after an injury to Carson Beck, and then he played for them in the college football playoff, and they lost to Notre Dame. Tony, what are your thoughts on Gunnar Stockton at this moment? I have some very interesting ones, so
Yeah. So
I'll
here's
save
the
it
thing
for
about
last.
he looked good enough during the playoffs. And so like he's not bad. And here's my thing is I spent way too long doubting Georgia quarterbacks. And I don't know how important the quarterback was we've seen Stetson, just totally I'm Stetson Bennett, man. I felt like I trashed him for 2 years and then he continuously won games. So maybe Gunnar Stockton can be the same way. And I think that Gunnar Stockton probably has more talent than Stetson Bennett. So like I feel wary of trashing Gunnar Stockton. I think I would put him in my. How did we describe the C tier again?
The C tier is more of like wait and see, young guys. I guess.
I
I
guess
mean,
I think I'd put him in the
I
C.
I think the thing about
B.
doing these tier lists is like every time you go through a player, you wish you can add another tier for them. Just 'cause it's like hard to pin him down. I mean,
He's like for now we're gonna put him in B, but like I might shift
I
him
think yeah,
to
I
C.
think he's a B guy. I think he's a
Yeah,
guy you can rely on. He's not going to necessarily take over a game. I mean, I think he had a steady performance against Texas and helped them. He helped engineer that comeback. Then, of course, against Notre Dame, I wouldn't blame him for the loss. Like, I don't think he, I don't think he wowed anyone. Like you said, he played good enough. I don't think he wowed anyone, but I wouldn't necessarily like be going at the guy. I mean, I don't think he lost them the game. But one take I do have is I think Gunnar Stockton will be solid for Georgia, but I honestly think their QB2, I talked about him a little bit on a previous episode. I think Ryan Puglisi, I think that's how you pronounce his last name. I think he honestly has some more upside, right? Blue chip quarterback out
didn't
of
you have
Mass.
Gunnar Stockton losing his job earlier?
I mean, I think there's a
I think
maybe
we can go back
well,
in the
I'm gonna
Wayback
walk
Machine.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not gonna necessarily walk
The
that
schedule
take back.
preview.
I could definitely see a world though where Pugs takes over that job, and I think he has more upside than Stockton. But I think Stockton's a
I
steady
think you
guy.
should
I
have him
mean,
in the C then. If you think this guy's going to lose his job, he should be in at least the C.
I don't know. Can we put him in the middle, like right there? Like
We're
I feel
keeping him
like
in the
he's a
middle. We'll commit later. That's a
yeah,
tough one to start with. That's a tough one
yeah.
to start
Gunnar
with. Okay.
Stockton though. Next one we got a guy that I'm sure Alabama fans don't want us to talk about, Diego Pavia from Vanderbilt. I'll go first on this one. I'm personally pretty high on Pavia. I mean, of course, he beat Alabama. He had an electric game. I mean, he was doing everything for them. He was trucking guys, like running hard for first downs on these option plays. And I feel like Alabama just had no answer for him. Maybe that wasn't necessarily Diego Pavia's like some elite guy, and they just out schemed Alabama and went after their weaknesses. But I mean, I think Pavia is like a really steady guy. Like I don't know. I feel like at least 10 SEC teams would love to have Diego Pavia as their quarterback. Like he's a
Like
great leader.
for this
He's
season, maybe for this season, he's a gamer. He's a gamer, and he has the
yeah.
ability to change. I'm trying to think of like what Diego Pavia is compared to another player because he's not like elite. I'm looking back at my rankings. I actually had him number 3 in the players that Alabama face. The quarterbacks Alabama will face this year. So I think I'm almost forced to put him in an A tier. I was gonna put him
Yeah,
in
I
B.
think I
Off
think
of vibes,
Diego's an
I was
A
gonna put him
tier
in B, but
guy.
then looking back, yeah, I think he's A. He won't be the best quarterback we put in A, and I think I'm already going back through my list that this was published on May 9th, and I'm already disagreeing with a lot of it. But no, I will put Diego Pavia in the A, the low A's, but
Yeah.
he's A.
And we'll go back and adjust as this list goes on. I mean, nothing is finalized until
Sure.
the last guy. But next up, Alabama will take on Missouri, and Bo Pribula, transfer quarterback from Penn State, is going to be the signal caller for the Tigers this year. I'll let you go first on this one, Tony, because you did the research. You know more about this guy, but because there's not a lot known about Pribula right now, he didn't really play at Penn State, right?
Yeah, well, I mean, he didn't. Yeah, he had 35 passing attempts last year. He completed 74.3% of them, 5 touchdowns with an interception. He's behind Drew Allar, like a first round pick, maybe second round pick. So like in the early mock draft. So it's like you leave because you don't want to be behind that guy anymore, you really are kind of still an unknown. He's not going to have some of the weapons that he had at Mizzou, but seems like Mizzou does well typically with quarterbacks. He's got Drinkowitz, scheming things up for him. I think too, when we, talk about these quarterbacks, we also got to look at like the offenses and the offensive minds that are going to be, associated with them. So I like him, but I can't go. I'm below Arnold on him. So let's put him in C for me at least. He's
Yeah, I
below
think
Arnold.
C. I mean, C is perfect. C is the wait and see tier. I mean, we have to wait and see
Yeah.
what Bo Pribula brings. I'm really impressed with his rushing numbers. I mean, 242 yards, 4 touchdowns on the ground. Really low sample size. But I'm impressed with those. I mean, like you mentioned, not having Luther Burden and Theo Weiss on that offense might hurt him a little bit, hurt his development, hurt his chances at rising up, really. But I mean, I don't think Missouri would have dished out $1.5 million for a guy who isn't capable of at least steadying the ship. So I mean,
He's a
I
guy
think
that
he's
I mean, like, I think he's a good replacement for Brady Cook. I think, he's got that potential. I mean, you see it, whether or not he's done it against, on the biggest of moments or not, probably not. But, he can be a dual threat guy. He did well at throwing the ball around during his limited opportunities last year. You could see how he could translate into that offense. His athleticism kind of fits into that offense as well. So I like him. I like him probably more so than maybe some of these other rankings have him. So I put him just, for perspective on Alabama. I have him as the 8th best quarterback Alabama will face on this rankings. But I think you could maybe even bump him up higher. It just kind of depends on how he develops, and by the time he rolls around to Missouri, to when he'll play Alabama, which is on October 11th.
Yeah, another guy that is a pretty big unknown, I think, at least in terms of the SEC right now, is Tennessee's new starter, Joey Aguilar. Of course, Aguilar coming to Knoxville after the Nico Amalava saga happened. Big NIL drama there. And Nico ends up leaving Tennessee, going to UCLA, back out to home in California. And then they pretty much do a 1-for-1 swap and take Joey Aguilar who was UCLA's starter last season. Tony, any thoughts on Joey?
I told you I'm not gonna go E tier. I'm not like, I think the quarterback play, like if you're an SEC team, you got to go E tier, but I'm gonna go D tier on this one. I think he's going to be probably in my bottom 3 SEC quarterbacks if I'm like just kind of like off the top of my head. There might be a couple of people I might have like worse than him, but I like, here's the numbers from him at UCLA, because it was basically a straight swap with Nico going to UCLA and him going to Tennessee. 55.9% completion, 3,003 yards, 23 touchdowns, 14 interceptions, and then he had 207 yards and 2 touchdowns on 59 attempts. He's gonna be better in Josh Heupel's offense, and like a lot of people will look good in Josh Heupel's offense. So if you calculating that, you could almost maybe put him up to the C, but I don't. Some people have to be in the D tier, and for me, Joey Aguilar is the line I'm drawing. He's our first D tier. Sorry, Tennessee fans. I know the Tennessee fans that are the 0 Tennessee fans that are watching Tide Illustrated right now, but that's where I'm going. It's a tough
Tennessee
break. I think Nico would have been higher.
Yeah, I mean, Tennessee, though, they do have a pretty juicy matchup week 1 against Fran Brown, former Georgia assistant, and Syracuse in Atlanta. It's the Chick-fil-A kickoff game, so that should be a fun game, and we'll get to see more of Aguilar then. I think it's worth noting he has bounced around a little bit. He played at App State before working his way up to UCLA and now working his way up to Tennessee. So he's kind of worked his way up through the transfer portal. But moving on to Alabama's next opponent.
Hey, no, before you go, where would you have put Nico Iamaleava, like in this list?
I don't,
because I'm honestly putting him at the same spot as I'm putting him Jackson Arnold at beats.
Yeah, I'm lower on Nico. I understand the upsides there. I understand the physical tools, and I mean how highly touted he was as a recruit, but like he really never struck so much like a lot of confidence in me during his time at Tennessee. I think he made passes when they needed to be made. I guess specifically against Alabama, like he got a lot of credit for helping them win that game. But like I feel like Tennessee could have put that game away really early with the amount of deep shots he missed.
I'm thinking that like I almost kind of have him in that same as Jackson. Oh, sorry. I was thinking Jackson Arnold, and we said what you call it? Georgia's quarterback, Gunnar Stockton. I have him in that Gunnar Stockton range, which now I'm also gave away that I also have Jackson Arnold in that range. But like I kind of see him before we move on to that. Like I kind of see Nico as somebody that like you're kind of looking back at the like the recruiting rankings, and the talent's there, but he hasn't proven it on the field quite yet. And you see flashes of it here or there, and he could be elite, but he can't. So without giving away, we'll go to the next one, which is
we have a very big time, very juicy name here. We have Lenore Sellers from South Carolina, very highly touted player right now. South Carolina obviously ripped off 6 wins in a row to end the season. Caught a lot of hype from a lot of national media, and a lot of people are putting Lenore Sellers in that Heisman Trophy conversation alongside some other SEC and other top QBs nationally. South Carolina has a chance to be really good, but a lot of it will fall on Lenore's. Tony, where would you put him? I have my
I know we talked about this before, so I guess I'm higher on him maybe than you are. I'm putting him S tier. I think he has a chance to be I think if things go right, Lenore's Sellers, people like those dual threat quarterbacks. He's big dude. He can run with the ball. He can throw. If he really puts together a good year, I think he could be a top 10 pick. We'll see. But I think he's that S tier. He's first, you're kind of judging him on what he did in that those 6 straight wins to end the regular season where he combined for 1,917 yards of total offense and 17 touchdowns. The numbers like don't necessarily drop off the page. 65.6% completion rating, 2,534 yards, 18 touchdowns, 7 interceptions. He also had 674 yards and 7 TDs. I just think you're going to see a step up from him. I've said South Carolina is my trap game. It's almost becoming like South Carolina is so much of a trap game that you almost can't call it a trap game anymore because it's so difficult, and they're going to be playing. I think Lenore Sellers is going to give Alabama a tough time. You look at what he did against Alabama last year. I don't know. Did we already say that? He's 23 of 31 for 238 yards and 2 touchdowns. He did have that interception, then kind of like a Hail Mary-ish play that Damani Jackson intercepted to the end of the game. I think he's solid, man. I think he's going to be good. I'm putting him S tier. I'll fight you for it too. So go ahead and move him up there.
I think I'm a big. Personally, I like to see a big sample size out of quarterbacks before I vault them up into S tier. Now, I might contradict myself later on with another name on this list, but I think I liked a lot what I saw from Lenore's against Missouri, against Clemson. He had a lot of heroic performances, and like he's must-see TV. I mean, I think I don't know if it was us who said this, but I was talking to someone. I hope this dude's good because like he'll be like the perfect like gimmick player to be good. I mean, he has the glasses, like he has a cool last name. Like this is like he's 6'3", 6'3", 240. Like this is a guy that like I just want to see him like be an NFL quarterback. I want to watch Lenore Sellers for the next 15 years of my life. But
I do want to see Cam Newton. Like, yeah,
I do want to see more out of him. I think like I just want to see more. I want to see a bigger sample size. I want to see South Carolina. Well, I know they have a really tough schedule. What do they open up the season with? Pulling it up real quick.
I want to see him.
They open up the season. South Carolina opens up the season with Virginia Tech, and then they have a pretty early conference game in week 3 against Vanderbilt. So he'll get tested a little bit early, and maybe I'll push him up to my S tier, but I have him A for now, so we'll put him in the middle, I guess. I don't know. I agree with a lot of the stuff you said.
They could easily win all the way up to at LSU. That's 1, 2, 3, 4. He could start off 5-0. Then I don't think they win in Death Valley, but that game against Oklahoma at home is going to be fun. And if they win that, I mean, they could easily be like 6-1 by the time they play Alabama at home. That could be a huge game. I mean, things would
Yeah.
have to go right, but I think he's the kind of guy that can. I mean, that they're a team that South Carolina, let's not forget, had a legit argument to make the college football playoff last year.
Yeah, I mean, they're left out of that conversation a lot, but they could have definitely made it. Another team that
we're putting him S tier, man. I get one veto, you get one veto. I'm putting him S tier.
Well, I'll save my veto for later then. But a guy I think we're both confident that's S tier is Garrett Nussmeier out of LSU, returning for another season. He could have went to the NFL, but he came back to LSU, and they're looking stacked on offense. Threw for over 4,000 yards, 29 touchdowns last year. Did have 12 interceptions. He's going to have to clean that up. But I think there's no doubt that as a pocket passer, that I think Garrett, if you're building an NFL quarterback in a lab, in terms of like a pocket passing quarterback, Garrett Nussmeier is like who I want. Like I feel like
also, I mean, his dad is a offensive coordinator too, so he's smart. The thing about Nussmeier is, can he take care of the ball? I mean, because he's kind of still a gunslinger, you know. And how many interceptions did he have against? He had 2 interceptions against Alabama, and that that didn't help with that blowout loss. He's gonna get you yards, he's gonna get you touchdown passes, but those 12 interceptions, he's gonna have to do better than that. He's gonna have to. LSU can be a title contender, they can be an SEC contender, but he's going to have to take care of the ball. That's the biggest thing. He's gonna have offense around him. He's gonna have plenty of weapons. Let's just see, if he can kind of make that jump as a mature quarterback. And I think he can. I mean, he's obviously a guy that, has been surrounded by football, sees the game well. He's got a lot of games under his belt now too. So a lot of those, that maturity comes in with experience. And so I like him. I think, he's my number 1 quarterback Alabama will face. I think, Arch Manning's getting a lot of hype for the number 1 overall pick and might end up being the number 1 overall pick. But I don't know, man. I think Nuss, if I was doing a mock draft, I think, Nuss doesn't get enough love. If he can, if he can kind of stir up those decision making, I think he's got a lot of talent.
I think his upside, like you pretty much said, is up there with the top quarterbacks in this class. I mean, his arm talent is really solid. He can layer throws pretty much anywhere on the field. How tall is he? 6'4". Like, he has prototypical size for an NFL quarterback. I'm a huge Garrett Nussmeier fan, and
he's not running. Excited. That's the only thing, though.
Yeah.
If we are gonna maybe compare him to a Manning, to a Lenoris, Lagway, some of these other guys that are going to be at the top. Nuss isn't tucking the ball and running for you at all. He's your classic pocket passer. So maybe too, if you look at ceiling, and maybe what NFL teams would want, he's not as mobile as some of those other guys, especially in the college level. That can be a difference maker. So that'd be my only knock. Well, that and the turnovers would be my knock against him, is but I don't think LSU needs him to be a runner either.
Well, a guy that does have pretty solid running ability is John Mateer. I think, how do you say his last name?
It's Mateer. Yeah, it's Mateer.
Yep, John Mateer, transferring over from Washington State down to Oklahoma. He ran for 826 yards and 15 touchdowns last season, also throwing for 3,100 yards and 29 touchdowns on 64% throwing with 7 interceptions. Oklahoma dropped a bag to get this guy from Washington State, and I think me and you think really highly of him. Yeah.
Yeah, wise decision to drop that bag. I think he's good. Look, here's my hot take on John Mateer. I think if Oklahoma, they're not. It's going to be so hard for them to navigate that schedule. But if Oklahoma's a playoff team, John Mateer's he's going to be in New York. I mean, that's how good I think he is. And if Oklahoma somehow ends up in the playoff and he navigates that schedule, I think he is going to be a front runner for the Heisman. Now, I don't think it's going to be that way, but I think he'll still put up numbers. I just don't know if Oklahoma is going to win enough for him to do that. But you look at a guy that's we were gushing over Lenoris Sellers' rushing yards, and John Mateer has 824 yards, and then he's over 3,000 passing yards. Now, he didn't play an SEC schedule, and so it's going to be different. But he's joining from Washington State, but he's following his offensive coordinator Ben Arbuckle. So you've got that familiarity. It's not like he's switching teams and like has to learn a whole new scheme or anything, you know? So I have him in the A tier, but like, yeah, I have him in the A. I'm not about to put him in the S tier, but like, I
Yeah,
guess
I agree with you. I
theoretically,
mean, yeah,
he
theoretically,
can work his way up to the S tier. Like,
if
yeah,
things go right for him, he can become a Heisman finalist. I mean, but there also is a
which would be
chance.
S tier. Yeah.
There also is a chance that SEC football is just not for John Mateer. You know, like playing this level of competition is not for everybody. We've seen that before with quarterbacks coming into these top conferences and face planning, and Mateer obviously playing against basically a Mountain West schedule could be something that, you know, is a red flag. But I think the talent is there, the film is there. Like I said, I don't think Oklahoma would have dropped a bag on this guy if they didn't think highly of him, and like he has like the production to back it up. So I agree with you. I definitely put him S tier. And they have a lot of tests on their schedule. They have Michigan early on, Auburn, Texas, South Carolina, Ole Miss, Alabama, LSU, Tennessee. A lot of tough teams for John Mateer to prove himself. So we'll definitely have to wait and see. Another guy that's looking to prove him.
So
Sorry, go ahead.
one challenge I wanted to try to do. One challenge I want to try to do. Let's not try to have more than 3 people in each tier. If we can. I'm just saying. Yeah. All right.
We could try. Another guy though, that's going to be looking to try to prove himself is the guy that John Mateer replaced, Jackson Arnold, transferring from Oklahoma to Auburn. Of course, Arnold helped lead Oklahoma to a late season win over Alabama last year. Oklahoma dealt with a lot of injuries offensively, and Arnold struggled a lot throughout the season. He was in and out of the starting spot, but he'll be the starter for Hugh Freeze, and he'll be thrown to guys like Cam Coleman and all of Auburn's great receivers over there, one of the top receiving cores in the SEC this season. So, yeah, Jackson Arnold. Tony, you were at Oklahoma. You saw him play firsthand. What are your thoughts on him?
Yeah, I mean, that was like with things going kind of right for him. He's kind of, it's kind of like I kind of gave this away a little bit when I was talking about like where I would have Nico. I think you look at Jackson Arnold and it's there for him, and you've got the, you know, the stats, you know, don't necessarily match the talent. But you look at, you know, his ability. He's a guy that can do it with his legs and his arm. So like he's got that 5-star potential. I just want to see him be a little bit more consistent. One thing I will say is he's going to have a hell of a receiving core at Auburn, and you got to look at some of the things that he had. Like what OU was out like what its entire
I believe it was
receiving
like
core.
they were out like 5 deep when they played Alabama, or
Yeah,
6
I
deep
mean,
or
like,
something
so,
like that.
like, the fact that he even managed those numbers with that, you know, receiving core is pretty solid. I have him in that BC tier, but I do think he's better than Stockton. So maybe did we just make him straight B?
I don't know.
I'm kind of thinking this is where I think we start making our first move. I think we drop Stockton down. Like after seeing this, I dropped Stockton down to C and put.
But look at the guys we have left, though. I think there's multiple guys I'd take over Arnold that are in this little bubble. I mean,
that's in this B.
I don't think he's B just yet. I think he's more C. I mean, I want to wait and see him. I want to wait and see him play. I mean, he's the presumed starter at Auburn, but I'm not going to act like Auburn has had elite offenses over the years. Like, there's a chance that things go wrong.
All right,
and we see like.
Let's do a little mid tier, mid show shuffle here. Let's drop Pribula to D, Stockton to C, and we're gonna put Arnold at C as well. We can shuffle later if needed, but that's
okay. That's fine.
Now drop. Yeah, let's drop. All right, I'm comfortable.
Maybe we will use the E tier then.
Yeah, we might. I like the hidden challenge of only having 3 people per tier. It kind of like
that clears out everybody on Alabama's schedule. I guess for a mid-show break, we'll talk about the man that most people are probably listening for, Ty Simpson. Alabama's starter in-house right now. Kalen DeBoer said he's likely going to be the starter. They haven't named one. They probably won't name one for a little bit here. But Ty Simpson, I mean, we know more about him than most people, but there's still not a lot known about him. He hasn't had that many game reps. I mean, he only had 25 passing attempts last year. I mean, Tony, I guess I'll just let you rip on this one.
All right. I'm going to make another change. I'm putting Ty and Jackson Arnold at B tier. I'm doing it.
I don't think Jackson Arnold is a B tier.
I think he is. I think they both have the same. Okay, here's my case for that.
I think I would rather put Ty C
and Jackson Arnold are capable players. Either that or you're going to put Ty Simpson at C, because I don't think
I would feel more comfortable putting Ty Simpson at C personally, because we haven't seen him. Listen, he's a 5-star guy. I understand the hype around it. I understand, being Alabama's quarterback, there's a lot of weight on that, but I don't know. We haven't seen him yet. Like, I don't feel comfortable putting.
When you look down at the other people, though, I think they're going to be people that you're not going to put over Ty and Jackson Arnold. I feel of that list.
I think I see at least 4 guys.
I
see at least 4.
I don't know if I see 4. That's what I'm saying. Like, I think I like Jackson Arnold, Ty, and B, and then
I don't think Jackson Arnold is a B. I can't get on board with that.
All right. We can keep him at C. Do you want to put Ty?
Let's put him in the middle. Let's put him in the.
We can do that for now.
Yeah. I mean, let's put him in the middle.
I think to be fair, I think you probably got to put Jackson Arnold and Ty Simpson in the same level for right now for different reasons, right? So, like, I think Ty maybe has more of a ceiling, or he has more that we haven't seen, right? So maybe he's more developed, but like Jackson Arnold's done it on the field more. You know what I'm saying? So, like, just because you have that potential that Ty could be good, we haven't seen it necessarily yet. So to rate him above Jackson Arnold doesn't seem fair, and then really to rate him below Jackson Arnold doesn't seem fair.
Well,
I think they're both.
Yeah. Here's what. All right, I just say we continue going on the list, and
we can go. Yeah, we can shuffle as we go.
We'll start with a guy that's that actually played against Alabama, I believe, twice already, and now he's at a new school. Zach Calzada. He was previously at Incarnate World last year, the same school that Cam Ward started at. Of course, he was originally at Texas A&M, I believe, and then he transferred to Auburn. So he's faced off against Alabama before, but I mean, I would consider him one of the lower tier guys. I mean, he was pretty productive for Incarnate World, but he's never been all that in the SEC.
Are we going E tier? I know we said we weren't going to, but we're going to try to do 3 apiece. I think we're going E tier.
I mean,
if we're going to put a lot of people in D tier, I think I'd put him D tier, but I think he's the worst quarterback in the SEC.
I would go, I'm fine with
it. We are going to have an E tier at all. Yeah, if we are going to have an E tier at all, he's probably.
I mean, let's not spend too much time talking about Zach Calzada. Yeah. But I think and then I guess I think Blake Shapen is another guy that I
think I'm putting him also at E tier.
I don't know. I mean, I think Shapen's solid. I mean, he's a former starter at Baylor. Of course, he's coming off an injury, but he's going to be with Jeff Lebby. I think there's some upside there, honestly. I don't know if I think Blake Shapen is in better shape entering the season than both these guys.
I like him better. I like him better than Calzada, but I don't know who. If you look at that list right now,
I think I would take Shapen over Prebula for sure.
For serious? I wouldn't. Yeah.
I don't know.
Okay. All right. I'm cool with putting him D tier for now.
Okay. I think this is where it gets tough.
I think we're going to have to bump him if we're going to stick to 3 apiece. I think we'll have to bump him, but that's fine.
I don't know. Go first. Okay, well, I'm going to go since you got one veto, I'm going to take my veto right here, and I'm going to take my tier. DJ Lagway, Florida's quarterback. Now, if we're doing 3 a tier, this is a really tough debate because we have 2 guys that are considered very elite, but
we're gonna snub.
I'm super high on DJ Lagway. Based on how I have my current rank, DJ Lagway is my second ranked quarterback in the SEC. I mean, he's 6'5", just ridiculous physical tools. He was a true freshman last year and led Florida to a pretty solid season. He had a 6-1 record as a starter for Florida. I mean, people forget Billy Napier was on the verge of getting fired last year. He If it weren't for
yeah, you don't.
like if it weren't for DJ Lagway coming in and absolutely saving Florida's season and getting them to, I believe they played in the Tampa Bowl. That's not the ReliaQuest Bowl. Was it Gasparilla maybe? I think they played in the Gasparilla Bowl against Tulane. But if it wasn't for Lagway, 1,900 yards, 12 touchdowns, 9 interceptions, not that pretty, but he's a true
Yeah,
freshman.
I think you're forgetting about the 9. Like that's hard to forgive. Like
I don't know, but would I rather have 9 interceptions from a true freshman or 12 from a Garrett Nussmeier, who I think is like
that's what I'm saying. Like I don't think you can put him in S tier yet. He hasn't done S tier stuff yet. Like he's got S tier potential, and I could see him being like A, but he hasn't done S tier stuff.
But has Lenoris done S tier stuff then? Because DJ Lagway led Florida to wins over number 9 Ole Miss, number 22 LSU. I mean, he was 6-1 as a starter. Like, I think that's pretty on.
DJ Lagway.
I don't know. Okay, let's be real here. This is the debate we have. It's Arch Manning or DJ Lagway for that last S tier spot. Based on the body of work we have so far. Based on the body of work.
Well, I mean, also based on like who's gonna have a better season. Like
I don't know. I think Lagway.
Also, okay, no. Based on the body of work, look at what Arch did last year. Based on the body of work, Arch has better numbers.
Let's look at his competition. Look at his competition. Arch.
He played Mississippi State.
Arch doesn't have better numbers. He has 900 yards and 9 touchdowns. He played against Mississippi State, and I believe he played against an FCS school.
True.
Lagway beat number 9 Ole Miss. Lagway is 6'5", huge physical freak. Like I know I said like if I'm building a pocket passer, I'd put Garrett Nussmeier. I'd have it be Garrett Nussmeier. If I was building an NFL quarterback, it's DJ Lagway.
It's not Arch Manning?
I don't know. I like Arch personally, but I think Arch is more of a high-level starter than an elite guy yet. Like I just think based off what I saw from last season, and like I think Lagway's ceiling is higher than Arch's.
I mean, you've got your veto. Here it is. Actually, I don't know. Did you wasted your dumb veto on Shapen?
Oh, come on.
Gosh, I don't see it, but we can. I mean, maybe this will get us more views. It seems so weird that we're gonna put the number 1 overall pick at a below tier. It's gonna look even worse on this graphic when he's behind Pavia. At least for the graphic, move him over. Yeah.
Let's slide it around. I mean, we can break the challenge if you want.
Nope, it's fine. Look, here's where I'm getting at. All right, the remaining quarterbacks, are any of them better than Ty Simpson and Jackson Arnold? Like, it's set for me. Like, I know exactly what I want now. This is the point I was trying to make earlier. Go ahead and move, like, while we're debating, just for the sake of the graphic, let's go ahead and move Nuss in front of Lenoris, just so people don't think that we think Lenoris is better than Nuss. Because I think we're both pretty adamant that Nuss is our number 1.
All right.
All right. Here's where
one dilemma. Here's the one dilemma I have with this now.
Sure.
We've talked about Ty Simpson extensively, of course. I mean, we're an Alabama show, but it's really hard for me to separate Ty Simpson and Austin Simmons, just because I feel they both really rub me the wrong way, like the same way. Like they're both ultra talented guys that have small sample sizes, that have a lot of potential, but we just haven't seen. Like, if I was picking the names out of a hat, I don't know. Like, Austin Simmons and Ty Simpson are really similar for me.
I'm actually so you're feeling bad about putting Austin Simmons above Ty Simpson.
Well, I think they're in the same tier.
Gotcha. And so, do you feel that like a Taylor? Because to me, maybe I'm just being too low on, or maybe I'm being too high. To me, I'm putting Ty Simpson, Jackson Arnold, and Taylor Green in that B tier. But then I do kind of feel bad about moving Austin
I don't know,
Simmons
and
to
we're
the
we're ignoring
C tier.
Marcel Reed too. Marcel Reed is
Yeah, I have him. I have him below. So for
this
me,
this.
my
I
B
think
tier.
this crop
To
of
me, my
6
B tier.
guys are so close.
Yeah,
Like
I
you
think
can make the argument that Marcel Reed is the best out of all of them, or you can make the argument
I
he's the
don't.
worst.
I don't like. He's got the. He's the most fun out of all of them. I don't think he's the. Uh, I don't know if he's the best. I think you're getting like. I'm getting like Jalen Milroe
I mean,
vibes.
15 touchdowns, 6 interceptions, 61%, like pretty 1,800 yards plus 500 on like it's pretty good.
Yeah,
Like solid. I don't know. This is tough. I mean,
I'm
honestly,
higher on Ty Simpson and Jackson Arnold than maybe I think a lot of people, but I would put them in my B tier along with I also like Taylor Green.
I call me crazy, but I'd feel comfortable putting all the guys we haven't ranked yet in the B tier.
And then
Huh.
dropping Ty to
And then
C.
because I think all these three
Oh no
guys
way!
all
I'm not going. I'm not
kind
going
of.
Simpson under Reed. No.
But the only thing is, I feel like we've seen it from Reed. We haven't seen it from Ty. Like, what if there's a world out there where
We
Ty
kind of
Simpson goes
haven't
out there
seen
and
it. Have we seen it from Reed? Have like
he beat LSU? I'm pretty sure.
I mean,
Correct
all
me.
right, I'm
Correct me if I'm wrong. He beat LSU though.
like only with his feet though, right? I mean, like he can. We know this guy can run the ball, but like, did he throw against LSU? Like, I'll stand corrected. I'm
I'm
gonna
pretty
look it
sure
up
he had
right
a
here.
big pass against them. I think he had a big. I don't know.
He was
That's
2 of 2 for 70 yards. He had 62 yards. His big game. He only threw 2 passes against LSU. He
okay.
completed them
I
for
don't
70
know.
yards. He had a.
Thing is, I don't.
We're an Alabama show. We're putting. I don't think. I think Ty Simpson. I don't know. I'm high enough on
But
Ty
you're
Simpson that I
higher. All
think.
right. Okay. I'm fine putting Ty Simpson in the B tier. But are
You
you
know what we could do? You know what we could
really?
do if we want to. No. I think to be fair, right? We put. If you wanted to go that route, and then you just don't want to go. You just don't want. Okay, I look in the sake of fairness. I think you put Taylor Green. I think you move Gunnar Stockton maybe to let's see what Gunnar Stockton's stats were. If you want to go with people that have proven it, then you would take.
Yeah, I think Taylor Green's a B guy for sure, though.
All right, actually, you know what? The Auburn fans are going to hate this. I think that if we're going to do it this way, I think you're going to move Jackson Arnold to B, and you're also going to put Reed at B, because those are people that have quote unquote done it. If that's what you want to do,
But I don't know if Jackson Arnold
and you're
has
going to
done
have
it in the
Stockton.
same way.
Jackson Arnold's done it more than other people have. Like Jackson Arnold, let's pull up the. Yeah, I mean he's got the stats that I think if you're gonna do it that way, you're gonna put Green, Reed, and Arnold as your B, and then your C is gonna be Simpson, Stockton, and who am I forgetting? Simmons.
Wait, so you
No,
want to
see, like
swap Jackson Arnold and
correct.
I don't.
You're higher. See, that's where. Okay, this is where we're at. See, I think I would put. You can't see my arrow. Okay, I think I would put Jackson Arnold and Ty Simpson. So I would swap Reed for Arnold, and that's what mine would be.
Oh,
There's 2 middle ones. That's what I would swap. And I'd be very comfortable with that.
but I would take Marcel Reed on my football team over Jackson Arnold. I don't know. I guess that's just our difference in opinion. I think like all of these guys
See, like this is perfect to me.
are in the middle.
Sure. Yeah.
Like I feel like we're not going to be able to come to an agreement. I think we just have difference in opinion.
Yeah. All right. That's about fair. Also, you know what? Like,
But now I'm questioning are you going to take Arnold over Stockton?
yeah. No, I am. I think so. I don't really like Stockton. Here's the thing. I'm kind of down on Georgia because of Stockton. I just don't really think Georgia has it as much as I think people. If Georgia wasn't Georgia, nobody would be picking them to win the SEC.
Okay. Well, this is what we're going with, I guess.
Yeah, this is kind of like what we have. I really hate that we don't have takeaways. I don't like that Manning's not S tier. I kind of don't love that Pavi is A tier, but I can't talk myself out of it. I'm fine with most of it. Yeah. That's what we got.
Know. It's a tough conference because I feel like a lot of guys are like, I mean, even to a point like Lenoris, Arch, and Lagway. Like I feel like all three of them, you can make the argument that maybe they're a little unproven and they need more production. You know, like
so run through for the people that like are listening to us on SoundCloud.
So our S tier, we have Garrett Nussmeier from LSU,
Spotify or whatever they're on. Yeah,
Garrett Nussmeier from LSU, Lenore Sellers from South Carolina, DJ Lagway from Florida. In the A tier, we have Arch Manning from Texas, John Meter from Oklahoma, and Diego Pavia from Vanderbilt. In the B tier, we have Taylor Green from Arkansas. And then we have a big slop of guys. We have Marcel Reed, Texas A&M, Ty Simpson, Alabama, Austin Simmons, Ole Miss, and Jackson Arnold, Auburn. In between the B and C tier, we just couldn't come to an agreement on that. We have Gunnar Stockton from Georgia in the C tier. In the D tier, we have Joey Aguilar, Bo Pribula, and Blake Shapen. And then finally, a poor Zach Calzada down there in E.
What is that, Calzada?
Hopefully there's no Kentucky fans listening.
Watch now. Zach Calzada just gonna have like a hell of a year and just think us look wrong.
Yeah, hopefully we don't get like.
I'm warming up to this. I think I don't agree with. I would have swapped Manning and Lagway, and then I already told you what I'd do with the B and the C's. But I mean, like we're there. We're not. It's not. Nothing's crazy.
If we could add another tier in between B and C, like I feel like that'd be perfect. I mean, that's
honestly
pretty much
like even including Stockton. Like when you go Green, Reed, Stockton, Simmons, Simpson, and Jackson, like so that's 6. Like you could flip a coin on all 6 of those guys. Really,
I think all of those guys.
I think Stockton's the worst out of that group. But I'd flip a coin on everyone else. And I'm really not. The thing about Stockton is like if you're listening to this and you're a Georgia fan, like I'm always wrong with Georgia quarterbacks. So like Stockton could also be there. That's why I'm putting him in that flip a coin list because I know that I'm down on Stockton. I know he's probably better than what I think he is.
Yeah, I feel like maybe I'd push Green a little. We kind of have. I'd push Green a tier above it, but I feel like all those guys, being Stockton, Reed, Simpson, Arnold, and Simmons, are all kind of in that same gray area where we just need to see more.
Sure. Yeah.
Like I want to see them do it. I want to see them win another big game, or I don't know. But yeah, I think that's.
Here we are. That's our list. We did it. That was fun.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure if you have any disagreements, of course, put it in the comments. Debate away, and I mean, yeah, that pretty much wraps everything up. Tony, any parting thoughts?
I gave them all. This is what we got. We could debate until the cows come home, but if you sat with us for 50 minutes so far, this is what we have.
Yeah, well, I'll run through it one more time just for those anybody listening still. S tier, we have Garrett Nussmeyer, Lenore Sellers, DJ Lagway. A tier, we have Arch Manning, John Meter, and John Mateer, and Diego Pavia. In the B tier, we have Taylor Green. And then in between B and C, we have Marcel Reed, Ty Simpson. I don't know why I keep blanking on
Jackson Arnold.
Jackson Arnold's name all of a sudden after we just talked about
Yeah.
him for like 20
Jackson Arnold.
minutes.
Yeah.
Austin
You just hate
Simmons,
Jackson Arnold, man.
Gunnar Stockton in the D tier, Gunnar Stockton C, and then D tier we have Joey Aguilar, Bo Pribula, and Blake Shapen, and then finally in the E tier we have Zach Calzada. That's our list. We appreciate you guys tuning in, and yeah, take it easy.